Hi, and welcome to a gentle yoga practice. My name is Kaylee. For practice today, if you have a roller or a block or a firm pillow, you may decide to use that. At some point, we're going to come into a sideline twist, and I like bringing something between the knees just to encourage this top leg to stay nice and actively still. So not necessary, but if it's nearby, go ahead and grab it and place it off to the side of your mat, and then meet me in a child's pose. You can extend the arms away from your body, or if it feels better, you can even stack the palms to make a little lift for your head. As soon as you choose which version of this child's pose you're opening your practice in, see if you can bring your awareness to all the points where your body is connected to the earth, and let the muscles ungrip, let them melt, let the bones get heavier so that you can just sink into this stretch. And then begin to bring some more awareness to your breathing without forcing it, without straining for it. Begin to lengthen your inhales a little bit. And slow down your exhales. So the breath is this tool that we have at our disposal that can make us feel just a little bit better at almost any time. So notice as you continue to extend your breath here, notice if you feel your body or your mind softening, if you feel things maybe slowing down a little bit, just observing whatever effect this conscious breath has on your experience. A couple more rounds of breath here. See if you can breathe into the sides of your body. And you breathe into your lower back, finding space around the kidneys, the adrenals. And then when you're ready, start to work your way up to a tabletop position. You can take a round of cat-cow if you'd like, or just move around in any way that feels good. Maybe you close your eyes and just move. Check in with the hips, the shoulders. Eventually, we'll meet in a nice neutral spine. Start to walk the hands forward a little bit more. And then you're going to press the hips forward, scoop the pelvis under as you lower all the way down to your chest. Coming right into a Sphinx pose. So in fact, instead of lowering all the way down to the chest, go ahead and lower down so that you're propped up on your elbows. And see if you can separate your feet a little bit, give your low back some space. And you've got the option to stay right here, coming back to those slow, deliberate breaths. Just noticing the effect of lengthening your breath cycle on your experience. Actively softening the jaw, relaxing the brow. Got a couple options in practice today that really are not necessary. So if your body is getting some benefit from this, if you feel good here, stay here. If you want to play around a little bit, bend both of your knees so that your feet are pointing up, but keep the feet relaxed. And gently press the hips slightly downward as you lift the chin upward. So shoulders can creep in toward the ears here a bit. We're stretching out the whole front side of the body passively if possible. So feet are relaxed with the toes softly pointed. And the chin is lifting to stretch open through the throat. And again, staying in your Sphinx. like we set up in, with the feet down and the gaze forward or even the chin down, is perfect, is awesome too. Wherever you land, wherever you are, smooth circular breaths. So long inhales into wherever you feel the stretch. And slow exhales. If you're ready to come out before I do, that's great. Listen to your body. Either way, see if you can take the breath into your belly here. So really letting your belly expand, let your diaphragm move as you breathe in, your lungs fill up. And softly letting go as you exhale. You take one more round of breath and then slowly release. We're going to lower all the way down and reach the arms straight forward. So your nose will be pointing downward, your forehead or your nose might be resting. But reach the arms straight forward here. Relax your feet and your legs, but start to crawl your fingers forward as much as you can, lifting your elbows. So tractioning through the shoulders here. A little jaw check, we're just here for 3. Send your tailbone back in space for 2, tiny tuck, so you're pressing the pubic bone down. And then release it. We're gonna roll all the way onto the right side. So keep the right arm long as you roll onto your right side. Bend your knees here. So both knees will come up about 90 degrees. And then the left arm's gonna come up over your head as well. You might interlace your fingers here, you might not. But we're taking a side body stretch into the left side. And try and relax the right arm. My right arm is right behind my right ear. And just breathe into that top side of your lungs, top side of your waist. And stay in this bent knee version, or we might add the left leg, stretching the left leg straight back to start, and then maybe playing around with bringing the left leg back in space a little bit and creating a back bend as well as a side bend by bringing the knuckles back behind you. So you could think about extending the hips, extending the spine. And again, you might keep the spine nice and neutral here and keep the top knee stacked. If you extended the top leg, we're gonna go ahead and re-bend. So stack the top knee above the bottom. And then if you're using a block or a roller or any other prop, now's the moment to place it between the knees. Bring both arms out in front of you, so the palms will be close together. You can lift the head a little bit, tuck the chin to protect the neck, and then open that top arm all the way back in space behind you. You might run into a wall, adjust if you need a little bit more space, and then close the top arm again, reaching out in front of you. So nice and smooth. See if you can make each one of these smoother than the last. Keep actively bringing that top knee aligned with the bottom knee. So there's a little hug of the inner thighs toward each other. The next time you have the top arm out in your twist, you can keep it there. Remove any props that you've got. And then straighten your bottom knee. So right leg goes straight toward the space out behind you or below you, however we're thinking of the orientation there. You can catch the crook of your left knee with your right hand. You'll let your left shoulder and left knee get heavy. Just breathe as far down into your spine as you can. You've got the option here if you want to add a bind by taking right hand toward the left foot as you kick that left foot forward. And then reaching your left hand down, bending your right knee to catch the right foot. So you're finding a twist that works for you, gently encouraging your shoulder blades onto the ground beneath you. And then breathing into the spaces in the twist where it feels like the breath gets stuck. Breathing into the belly, maybe the lower spine, the tailbone, the hips, the hamstrings. You added any binds, gently release them. And then we're going to hug the top knee into the chest as you roll onto your back. And then just stretch both of your legs out, stretch your arms out, find a Shavasana for a breath or two, observing how you feel. And then we'll work our way into our side lying side stretch on the other side. So eventually you'll end up with your left arm extended, your knees bent, and then the right arm comes up as well. Maybe you interlace the fingers. Make some adjustments so that you feel like you're not fighting with gravity here. And this is version 1. The first time I practiced this today, this is what I did. It felt great. If it feels good to extend your top leg straight back or straight out from the hips, so straight down from the hip, and then maybe taking it back a bit for more of a hip extension. You can take as much or as little spine and hip extension as you like. That could be nice and neutral, just focusing on the side stretch in your upper side. And once you do choose a version of this, maybe you close your eyes and use your mind's eye to trace the right edge of your body to feel into the stretch. Paying special attention to the right side of the waist and the right underarm. If your top leg drifted back, go ahead and rebend it. If you're using a prop, place it between the knees or the thighs. Arms reset out in front of you to the space in front of you. Lift your head, chin is slightly tucked, and then we're going to open and close that top arm. Noticing if you can find a little bit more space or a little bit more ease with each round. So take these maybe even slower than you think you need to. Let it feel really good. We've got lots of rotational elements in this practice today. And quite a bit of extension as well. So as much as this is a yin practice, it can also be just a little bit activating those kinds of shapes. Hold your next twist. You can absolutely keep the support if you want between the knees, or you ditch the support and extend the bottom leg long underneath you. And reach for now it's the left hand to the crook of the right knee. Make some adjustments so that the shoulders feel supported here. Tune into your breath. Find a way of being really friendly with your body. If you want, you add that cat pulling its tail. One thing that can be helpful in cat pulling its tail is to bring your awareness to the bottom hip and thigh, and maybe to roll onto the outside of that bottom hip a little bit more. Point the bottom knee down and then bend it as you reach and catch that foot. And then maybe you add the top leg. If you've caught the bind and everything feels good, you're pulling with your hands on your feet to help encourage the shoulder blades down beneath you. And then breathe. Big, smooth belly breath. When you're ready to release, do it slow. Find a breath or two in Shavasana, just noticing how you feel. And then work up to a seated position. We're gonna finish up with some 90-90 hips and a pigeon. So for 90-90 hips, feet are gonna be pretty wide apart here. You can start with your hands back behind you and a nice long spine, and then drop the knees all the way to one side as far as they go. Your back hip will lift up, that's fine. And then drop them to the other side. You might be able to see my fingers are tented back behind me. Take this a couple times. And you press down with the back knee. Feel those inner thighs on that back knee that you're pressing down. So trying to encourage it all the way down to the ground. And then you've got the option to release the hands, maybe to bring prayer hands, or I like kind of fingertips woven together, but elbows wide, so I've got space. Soft jaw here. Last option, if you want, is a reach across with the opposite arm. So you're reaching across, I'll turn to the side. So adding a little bit deeper twist that way. All right, next time you've got your right knee forward, let's hang out there. This is a great place to work the hands forward into a forward fold. Or if you prefer to come into a pigeon, you can stretch your left leg back. Take a moment to adjust the hips, to feel into the sensations with the chest lifted. So we've got a nice little bit of a back bend happening here and a lot of hip extension in that left hip. And then you can start to walk the arms forward, maybe grabbing a prop for underneath your forehead or underneath your chest. Taking time to settle in. And then if you can, once you find the version of the stretch that's pain-free, but feels like some sort of something is going on in the body, a lengthening sensation perhaps in the tissues. See if you can commit to a really gentle stillness. So it's just devoting yourself to a moment of stillness here, where the movement that you're aware of is your breath. And just notice where you can feel the breath moving in your body. And notice if you can invite it into areas that feel a little tight or a little sticky. Just by slowing things down and softening tension. Take just a couple more rounds of breath, really letting yourself experience your pigeon stretch, whichever version you took. And then a really patient exit. So that means slow, pressing the ground away to lift the chest. I'm going to roll onto the belly first before switching sides, but you might have a transitional shape that feels good for your body. And just notice any difference between the right and the left hip, knee, ankle. And in your own time, find your stretch on the other side. Taking a couple breaths to set it up. So taking that lifted version, feeling the front of the right hip and thigh, that hip extension. And then eventually when you're ready, lying yourself down. Yin yoga or even any kind of floor-based movement is really, really good for our lymphatic system, for our veins as well, for our vascular return. Right, so we've oriented the body kind of more horizontal with gravity, so lymph and veins are working just with a little bit less counter pressure from that vertical, that upright position that we're often in. One of the things that you can do to support the lymphatic system here is to breathe in a way that expands your belly. You want to feel the rib cage, the bottom of the ribs moving out as the diaphragm moves down and out. And then moving back in as you exhale and the ribs recoil and the diaphragm lifts back up. And this is because there's a duct called the thoracic duct that moves through the diaphragm. It's part of the lymph system. So the thoracic duct carries all of the lymph fluid from the lower body upward. And by breathing, we help pump that lymphatic pump. In a really gentle way here. And see if you can just support that without straining, without forcing, without feeling like you're stressing your body with aggressively big breaths, but just these soft, full inhales, letting yourself completely expand. And slow exhales, emptying all the way back out. Full inhales, expanding the belly in every direction, all the way into the lower back. And slow exhales, completely emptying out. Continuing to breathe in a way that helps you feel a connection. Start to lift your way out of your stretch. We're moving towards Shavasana. So any resting pose that works well for your body where you feel like you can relax is great. Traditional Shavasana is nice because we open up hips, knees, shoulders, all of it. If we want to continue to work with the lymph and the venous return, we can work into a legs up the wall version. So just supporting that flow. And honestly, either one is great, right? Remember, Shavasana, we're horizontal, so we're still in a net gain in terms of the action, the direction that gravity is working on the body. And once you do land wherever you choose to close your practice, let go of the control of the breath. And actively ungripping and unclenching, softening the muscles in your face and your scalp. Letting the arms and the hands rest easy at your sides. Releasing the weight of the bones downward as the muscles just melt. Stay here for just a few more moments, listening for my voice to close our practice. Start to slowly nod your head from shoulder to shoulder. Truly slow motion here, slowly. Take some gradually deeper breaths, inviting some other little movement into your joints, your limbs. And give yourself the time you need to work your way from your resting shape to a seat. And when you do find your seat, see if you can lengthen the spine in a way that helps you feel a little bit more alert, a little bit of brightness. And then we'll finish with a cleansing breath, reaching the arms down to your sides. And then inhale as you stretch out to a big T and keep reaching up over your head. Keep filling your lungs. Inhale just a little bit more at the top so you're completely full. And then let it all go. Thank you for sharing some time with me. I hope that your body, your mind feel a little calmer, a little bit better. And I hope to see you again soon.